Welcome to Spiritual Warrior TV and Podcasts, your go-to channel for everything related to spirituality, metaphysics, personal development, and well-being. I'm your host, Renzo Ruiz Haas, and I'm on a journey myself, as a truth seeker and as an explorer, to discover and to share with you all the best tips, tools, and different approaches that contribute to nourish our souls, embrace our humanity, and help us incarnate the greatest and brightest expression of ourselves. Because when we become better versions of ourselves, we make this world a better place. Yeah. What's up, my beautiful souls? And my next guest is an artist, a mentor who guides visionaries to clear their inner clutter so that they can design their life's purpose. So without any further ado, I want to give a big, warm welcome to the one and only Sukhdev Penning.
Hey,
What's up, my brother?
how you doing?
So happy to have you here, man.
Thank you for having me, brother. This is gonna be good.
It's the first time I actually say your name fully. You know, we should call you Sookz. Like, since the first day I met you, so always like Sookz. So yeah, there you go.
That's it. My full name actually means the Lord of Happiness. And,
The Lord of Happiness?
Yeah. That's what
Wow, man, that fits you like perfectly, man. always have that big smile on your face, man. Love it.
I know. But yeah, I find the names are really important. They really have an energy to them. You know, when you meet a person.
That's true.
You get a vibe off a name right off the bat.
Yeah, no, for sure. I agree with that 100%. And I remember, like, even like Sarah, she made a post of her name's origins. She was like I think it was a child of God, of the sun. Sorry, child of the sun.
Child of the sun, yeah. Child of the light.
That was really cool. And it's like, oh shit, yeah. They do carry, like, even like words, they do carry a vibration, you know?
Oh my God, it's so true. And I find there's something that goes along the lines of the words we speak create the worlds we live in, which I thought was really powerful, you know?
Wow,
and,
yeah.
And
that
it
is
was
powerful.
Also the sentences you formulate end up sentencing you into the words created.
That's so true, man. The words we use basically create our outer reality, pretty much.
That's exactly
and I've been catching myself also, like, saying, like, speaking in the negative. You know, like, instead of saying, like, I don't know, like, to be against war, just if you change that for being, like, for peace, it changes the whole dynamic of it. And sometimes, like, I catch myself saying stuff like, you know, being like against something or anti this, and then if you switch it around, you change the sentence and you just remove the word that you don't want to use, like anti-racism, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
If you just,
it's so true. And if you go for the opposite, like if you say something along the lines of unity, you know, like unity advocate, you know what I mean?
So accurate, and it really applies to the times that we're going on right now.
Oh man, and it's so crazy because, like, it's all about the words, and it's all to grab the attentions, and it's all to conjure up emotions. And so it's like, how do we have to be really intentional with the words and just aware.
Yeah, no, awareness, definitely just the big thing there.
Yeah.
Man, something I want to share with our audience, man. It's like, you and I feel like we're pretty good reflections of each other, man.
Yeah, man.
And
I
let me
feel that
explain you
too.
what I mean by that. Is
Okay,
that
talk to me.
we have a lot of stuff like in common,
Yeah.
and it's scary, man. It's scary. Like it's crazy, yeah.
I know.
Like
I know.
you're into photography, what you call photography, which I love. That's like your own branding. I love that, man.
Yeah.
Photography. Like you also love music. I'm big like I'm into music as well. I know you've done some martial arts as well. Like
Exactly.
you've
Yeah.
done wrestling. I was also into like martial art. I'm still into martial arts a lot,
Yeah.
but mainly, and like correct me if I'm wrong, but labels.
Mm,
Like I'm someone who's just doesn't like to be defined by any labels. Like,
I know, man.
and I know you got this too in yourself. Like I feel it in
Yeah.
you as well. You're like,
That's, I totally get it. And it's true. We do have those similarities.
yeah,
But what I got with was once I had a meditation and I was like deep in this meditation and a giant octopus like appeared over my head. And it
wow,
was like this golden octopus and it was like really very strange, but like epic and everything. And then I didn't know what it meant. And it's like, I kept it in my mind for a long period of time. And then eventually it dawned on me that like the octopus has 8 tentacles and like those tentacles were just expressions of myself basically, and the top head was the one who's running the show. And what was
wow,
really interesting too is that the octopus, in each of its tentacle, the tentacle has a brain of its own, so they're like highly intelligent creatures.
yeah,
And like once I got that down, it was more about like it wasn't so much about the labels or anything anymore. I'm just an artist, and I live life that way. I like to make life my canvas type of thing. So that's when I stopped using the labels and I just kind of integrated everything into one.
yeah. No, and I get what you're saying too. Because I'm kind of just now I'm starting to like create a new association with that with the word labels
Yeah.
because I mean I also at one point I was very frustrated, man, in society
Mm.
because you know I've seen people like, oh, I'm a lawyer or I'm this, I'm that. I'm like, fuck, what am I? I love all these things, and
Yeah.
how am I gonna say I'm like I'm a photographer when I love like many more
So many
things?
things. I
It's hard
know.
to like define yourself as something, right? And then I realized it's
Ah,
like
yeah.
I don't need to, right? I'm just gonna
Exactly.
go with my name as a branding or whatever,
Yeah.
and from there I'll I can shape because I basically it's in being that all the magic happens.
Mm.
And what you do, basically, your activity, whether you're an entrepreneur or whatever, it's kind of like it's an extension of who you are, pretty much. That's how I
Exactly.
see it.
That's exactly it, man. I think you nailed it with that.
Yeah. So I kind of
Because
made
it's
my
really quite
pieces with that.
expressive. Got you. Got you.
Yeah. Man, when I think of you, two words pop in my head.
Okay, what comes up?
Wisdom,
Hey.
that's the first one. And right next to it, there's no hierarchy to it. It's just they're there at the same level. Wisdom and flow.
Ah,
Yeah.
dude, you nailed it, man. That's me. I mean, wisdom. I mean, sometimes I try to be. It's just like it just comes out.
And you just like every time I spoke to you, it's like this gold nuggets coming. I don't know where you get them. You're like, you're
Exactly, man. What are 2 words? 2 words that pop up for me with you, Renzo, is I see a lot of joy in you, man. Joy, which is awesome. It just radiates off of you. It's just, and it's like an
thanks, man.
unshakable positivity.
Thank you, brother.
And the second word, when you're like you're devoted or dedicated, you're like dedicated to the path.
Passionate or
Yeah, passion. That passion comes out
okay.
definitely.
Yeah. No. Nice, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that though. I can see that. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man.
Bro, I want you to explain to me what the word flow means to you in your life, and how does that like important to
So
be in that state of flow.
flow to me is like it's like a current, basically a wave. So like you're watching the flow. And so the way I see it is the minute you're born, you come out of the womb and you're in a riverbed and you're already in a flow. And that flow consists of your family, consists of like the school you go to, consists of what you learn at school, the movies you watch, the TV shows, and then the habits and everything. And then that's kind of the flow that you're in. You know what I mean? And so for the most part, it's like there's always a flow, there's always a current, and we are part of that current that's moving and waving. But the question becomes, how aware of your current are you? And is that the riverbed you want to be riding, you know? And
Right.
sometimes like you don't have control over it. Sometimes the waves are going to come and you got to become a really good surfer, you know? But
Oh yeah.
really, like for me, discovering your flow is really about you riding your own wave and catching on to that rather than being uh, told what to do all the time. It's more like you bring back your sense of wonder, you bring back your sense of childlike curiosity about life. You
Hmm.
start creating from that space, and then you have a vision of where you want to get to, and then you're riding the flow and using the flow as you build and create and whatnot.
Right
So
on, man.
that's the way I see it. The flow is like the current, the riverbed.
Sweet. Yeah, and I mean you can see that in nature as well. That's how
Yeah.
like spores they grow into mushrooms, and you know how the flowers blossom or how the trees just naturally grow without
Yeah,
like any effort, right? Effortless.
exactly. And they don't really care about the other ones. They're just doing their own thing, being a tree, you know,
Right. Right. And I
growing.
love how like David Lyon also says, you know, just like the sun, so, like
Yeah, it just shines.
exactly, it just shines. It doesn't worry about it, like who's watching,
Yeah,
who's
or
judging, who's not. It's just shining, and by shining, it's already changing lives around it. Like,
mm, exactly.
yeah, I love that. And a lot of people confuse flow with chaos. What would you?
Well, I think it's the same thing because flow is like moving, it's movement, you know, and as soon as someone doesn't have control over something, they think it's chaotic,
Hmm.
but it's not always the case.
No,
You
it's
know?
not always because there's like a natural order that happens there too.
Exactly. So like when it's moving and it's natural. Otherwise, flow is it, and not nature is chaos as well, but it's like chaos can be looked at in many different ways, you know?
That's true. It's true
So
in the eyes of the observer.
yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm feeling more like, yeah, it's just natural, man.
yeah, yeah, man. Just nice, man.
Yeah.
So, man, can you tell me about your most recent, you know, discovery or expansion in consciousness
Oh,
you've had? Like
yeah.
something you had
Yeah.
recently, like
That that blew my mind.
yeah.
Uh,
So
so for me, this whole COVID situation and everything was really bringing up my shadow side. So I was dancing a lot with my
oh
shadow.
man, I think you're not the only
And
one. yeah.
yeah. And so for me, it was like my shadow in a way was kind of like a trickster. And he was, oh, I can't say he is uh, playful, but in a way that will really get me messed up. So like I'm very much a cerebral type of guy. I like to feel and like reflect on things quite a bit, you know? So when that shadow side comes up, it's like there's several voices in the head. And it's
Totally
actually
feel you,
one of the
man.
reasons why, yeah, it's one of the reasons why I took up meditation was to like just get beyond all the thoughts and the emotions and everything, you know? And I've managed to get a really good grip on that. But the shadow side of me would continuously try to remind me that there was something I needed to fix or heal or get better at. And in that pursuit of always getting better and better, or not being good enough, etc., and that's where it was so tricky, because when you're trying to better yourself in a way that, because you feel like you're not good enough now, that voice feels very positive. It feels like, yeah, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get through it. But it was a false positivity in a way.
Oh
And so
man, you
that's
just,
kind of,
it's crazy you mentioned that because, well, anyways, yeah. I won't cut you down, but I'll explain to you later what I mean by that.
cool. Yeah, so it was like a false positivity. And then that voice was actually keeping me in the dark. And what I was thinking was the darkness was actually the light. So it's like, it's okay if you're not good enough. It's okay if you fail sometimes. You know, it's okay if you're emotional. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person or whatever, you know?
Right.
So that was my dance with my shadow. So when I finally figured that out, I was like, ah.
So it's like a relief, right? Like a weight coming out of your
Yeah.
shoulders. Yeah, absolutely
Yeah.
get it. And I was gonna mention this, man, that I also realized something, that I was falling into like this thing that I call delusional positivity,
Okay.
where like, you know, you can just like you were saying, you can do better, you can be better. Uh, so you hide that under a mask of like, oh, but wait, I have to be positive. I have to, all this have tos,
Yes.
right? When in the end, where the real positivity, it's about feeling that emotion that we often label as negative, uh,
Mhm.
to feel it and then just let it go. And even
Mm.
like embrace it, love it. And when you love it, it creates like an effect of like, you know, removing the mask.
Yes,
So you're like, okay,
exactly.
so what is there to be addressed? When you face it, you're like, okay, what is there to be addressed? Because hiding that under a sense of like false positivity, of delusional positivity, is like you're burying those feelings. You're not allowing yourself
Exactly.
to feel the rage or whatever emotions want to arise in the
Fuck.
moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's very deep,
So
man. And
thanks,
and
man.
fuck, especially during this whole Corona thing, it's been a lot of it's been very chaotic.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and people don't know what to believe anymore, or like getting
Mhm.
information from everywhere, and it's like a
I
war
know.
on information. But I realized that war was mostly inside ourselves. Like it's
Yes. And
happening
that's
in
what
the
it is.
outside, but it's happening inside ourselves as well.
And that's where it's like, yeah, it takes so much awareness, I find. Because even when we read things or we see things, what happens is it triggers an emotion. And like people will often say that made me feel sad. But the truth is, nothing can make you feel sad. It's that you are emotionally
Exactly.
triggered from within. And so then it's a game. Like when you're reading something, something gets triggered. It's like if you can track what's being triggered and not give that the power, then we become extremely powerful, because we take ownership of what is surfacing up rather than always blaming. So like people will say the
Powerful.
corporations are hurting everyone. The corporations are doing this and that to people. The movies are brainwashing people, or etc. But the thing is that, yeah, maybe they might be trying to manipulate or maneuver. But if we are aware of what's going on from within us, and then we start choosing to take ownership of it and not follow the things that we don't believe in,
Right.
then we automatically just take the power back, you know? So
That's so
I
true.
find that it's better to just be aware, because even your experience that you're having it within yourself. You know, like in the morning, who's the one who wakes up their eyes in the morning and starts experiencing this life, you know? So it's
Right.
better to just stay in your own vessel. Stay in your own vessel, stay in the
Stay
center of your
center.
heart. Yeah. And then just enjoy this thing, like experience it. It's a crazy time
Feels like
we're
we're
in right
all
now.
receiving the same messages here, huh? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
unity, staying center, and
Yeah.
fuck, it's crazy. That's how
Yeah.
you can tell that there is a collective consciousness that like everyone is like,
Exactly.
connected to this thing, whatever
That's
you want to
it.
call it, the universe, God, that
Yeah.
collective consciousness. And no, that's right on point, man, what you were saying. And I agree 100%.
Hmm.
Like, this type of information, and whether it comes from mainstream media or even like other conspiracies, well, whatever the word conspiracy theory means nowadays, because
Hmm.
people have bastardized that word so much that it doesn't
Yeah.
really mean anything anymore. But yeah, neg- that information that is like we label it negative, if it affects you in a way that is disempowering,
Yeah.
uh, then there's no point. To me, there's no point of like even watching it, because I
Going
was
into
also
it.
falling into
Yeah.
that rabbit hole of looking at it. I'm like, man, what the fuck is wrong with the world?
I
I was getting
know. That
pissed, man.
happened
I
to
was
me
like,
too.
fuck, I wish I could do something, but then there's nothing you can do,
Yeah.
even if there are these corporations playing with our heads, because I'm not turning a blind eye as well. Like, there's shit going on in the world, and
Yeah.
it's not about like, oh no, everything is like flowers and unicorns. I'm not the type of person, but
Mm.
it's also about at one point coming to your senses and be like, okay, is there something I can do about this? And do I feel the
Yeah.
call to do something about this? Because also
That's
one
it.
thing, and I made a post about this. It was let me I'm gonna find this post for you, man, because I gotta read this. It's a quote from, can't remember, but I'll find it for you real quick. There you go. From Neil Strauss. He says, shaming someone into action creates acting.
Yes.
Inspiring someone into action creates change.
That's what I'm talking about.
Fuck
And
it
that's what
up.
it is. And like, cause shaming is just so heavy, you know?
Yeah.
We don't need to do
And
that
we've seen it a
anymore.
lot with Black Lives Matter, and like people writing on the walls like, oh, if you don't say anything about this, then you're racist or you're this. And like, wow,
I know.
chill,
And
people. It's
it's
like,
like that too. And that one is what I feel like there's some people are better at certain roles, you know? Like some individuals are made to be in the streets and they're made to like
yeah,
make some noise and cause change like that, you know? Which I think is very powerful for
it is.
individuals.
If that's their life mission, if that's their call,
That's it, you know?
then man, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Because I think we're all born to be at our place where our mission is, whatever that
That's
is.
it. Exactly.
If it feels good, and at that time, even me reading all this stuff and all this information, at that time, it felt like my highest excitement to do it. So I
Yeah.
did it. Now it's not the case anymore. I made new
Mm.
realizations for me, and I just turned off the noise around me,
Yeah, that's
because
it.
this is where my highest excitement is right now. It's just
Yeah.
you know having fun, interesting conversations like this. This is what I love to do. And
Yeah,
to
exactly. And I think that's what we got to do. We have to just follow what does give you that highest excitement, you know, and then you end up just shining with it. And then that turns into a ripple effect, right?
yeah, it does. It does turn into a ripple effect.
Yeah.
And if everyone is at their place, like where they're supposed to be, and it doesn't need to be like being an entrepreneur, like it could just be the person, you know, the bakery owner, or not even the owner, just the one who does the bread. If he's happy with that, and he's like, you know, feeding families and stuff, and he's there right where he's supposed to be. He's for fulfilling
Yeah,
his purpose. So
that's it.
yeah, and I think if everyone is if everyone is happy with what they do or where they at, then the world just, I think it will be like world peace.
Yeah, man, it's just so much emotions running around, you know. And I find that when you like, even for you, for example, like, what do you find that since you've transformed the way you see things and whatnot, do you feel like your external reality has changed because of it, right?
It is, yeah. I find it's like
That's
people, and at what point, even in the military, because I've always been like, at one point I was very in reaction with like ranks, hierarchy, because I can't stand that,
yeah.
right? And I'm open about it. I talk to them about it. Like I don't believe in
Yeah.
ranks and all that. I created a bit of chaos inside there in the
Yeah, I
organization.
got you.
Um, yeah, and people didn't understand. At first, I had a lot of people coming up to me and like, you know, reacting to, because I was inside of me. I had this like anger that wasn't expressed.
Mm.
So people would like pick on that and then pick on me for that. Be like, hey, like pick on me for whatever reason, hey, your uniform or whatever, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's been a while since that hasn't happened. And I'm still like a, you know, a rebel inside there or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm just happy about it now. I'm like, yeah, cool. Whatever happens, I'm just cool with it.
Yeah, that's it. You know, you're able to run with it.
Yeah, and wherever you are, it doesn't matter where you are. If you're free in your mind, it's like you can feel
Mm.
this sensation of bliss, of, you know, of inner peace.
Yeah, it's so true. Being connected.
For sure. And
Mm.
I feel like you're more connected to the source.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it. I hope I am. You know, but it feels pretty good. You know, it's getting to those places of. I remember my first time, like I experienced what source was like, and at the time, like I wasn't even aware of what I was doing or what was going on. I was just a deep meditator, and I kept bringing my focus and attention in between the thoughts. So I'd have one thought and then another thought, but in between thoughts, there's a space, right? So
Oh yeah.
if you just focus on that space, and for me at the time, my mind was full. It was like maybe this much space, like not much at all. I just kept my focus there, and eventually got greater and greater and greater. And then at one point, I just hit a point where it was just silence, and it was just peace, and it was just, and from that space, I was like, whoa, you know.
Man, you're making me high. I'm in like the spiritual high, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I started experiencing that, I was like, that's what's up, you know. And then I started to be able to just embody that as I'm awake. And then like I had more experiences that opened me up energetically, and I could feel things, and now it's really a game of bringing it all together.
Right.
And yeah, like I'd say for the past 2 years or year and a half, I've really been deep in the emotions, like understanding the emotions, or just working out how it works, you know.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out this thing called life. It's
Yeah,
just,
exactly.
you know, I think we're in the same boat there. It's just like
Yeah,
trying to discover new ways of like expressing
being.
myself, of being, you know, new ways of expression,
Yeah,
of expansion, of beingness. Yeah.
that's it. So that's
For
the
sure.
play, you know. But so to your thing about source, yeah, definitely. And I kind of stumbled upon it just synchronistically, you know, it just happened, and it was so cool.
Nice.
Yeah. How about you? Have you been contacting ETs at all?
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I've I have my experiences as well
Yeah, right?
with those. Yeah, for sure. I will once I'm fully out of the military, I'll be talking like more,
Okay, got you. So yeah, we
about
will.
this stuff.
Yeah, we
But
can
yeah, no,
go
we for
somewhere
sure, like,
else.
I'll keep that in mind though. For sure, it's gonna be for another episode for sure.
Got you.
But yeah, I've had my few contacts as well. Basically, the messages I've got were about specifically speaking my truth.
Mm,
That, like, standing in my truth was basically gonna bring more more abundance and more expansion.
oh,
So I
got
think there's something there for sure. And
speaking.
Kyle Lipton
Yeah.
kind of helped me get that part of myself as well.
Oh,
Because he's
nice.
like, the way I see this guy, like a word that comes when I see this guy is just like expression.
I know it's
This guy
true.
is so good at like expressing his truth,
Yeah.
and for sure, like the he's like the raw expression.
Yeah.
I'm starting to, integrate that parts of expressing more truth, more like,
How you feel?
but it's layers, right? It's layers that we're peeling and peeling, and it's not as easy. Like, it sounds easy, right? Yeah, just express your truth. But for me, at least, it's a challenge, man.
I totally resonate with that because I've had my own challenges with that as well. And what I realized was that, part of my shadow thing and the mask part, a lot of it had to do with truth as well. And it's funny
Yeah,
because your initial thing is, what the truth is. The truth is just, it's like right now, the truth is I'm talking to you and we're set up. That's
yeah.
it. And we're just expressing.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the moment, the truth is always there. And it's as soon as we start to doubt, and then all these other voices get in there, then
Right.
we kind of like we'll ignore it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's there.
But it's there. But no, I don't want. Yeah, but it's there,
Yeah.
man. Listen to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. And I feel like when we stay in that state of flow, it's kind of a way to feel more of that truth,
yeah, exactly.
to expand more on that truth, because you're in a state of trusting.
Yeah.
When you're in that flow, like right now, I'm in the flow. I didn't prepare, like for you, man. I didn't prepare any questions at all. I'm like,
I
mean, you know what? This guy's in the flow. I gotta match that. I'm gonna be in the flow, and I'm trying to live that in that way more and more.
Yeah,
It's very powerful, and I think that's where the magic comes, when you're in that state of flow. And I'm training myself to be more in that state of flow.
It's such a great feeling to just you let go, and for me, it's like a nudge in the heart. It's like, oh, okay, and that's where I go, and then it's like kung fu to me.
Yeah, yeah, it's like martial arts, for real.
Yeah, exactly. You're fluid. Yeah. And the masters are the most fluid, they're never rigid, they're very calm.
Yeah, and it takes an incredible amount of trust.
Yeah.
To just be like, you don't know, I'm just going there, I'm just showing up. I don't know what's gonna happen, what I'm gonna be saying, or what. I'm just gonna trust that, the universe is gonna guide me to where it has to guide me.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like, I'm good at doing that when I travel.
Yeah, I know. Hey, when you're traveling,
when I travel, I gotta admit, I'm pretty. I gotta give myself some kudos there. I'm good at staying in the flow when I travel. But now in the expression, I gotta apply that more.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. So for today, do you feel like you've expressed all of your truth? Is there truth you want to drop here today?
There, man. Honestly, I feel like I haven't expressed all of my truth. Uh, right now, the only thing that is holding me back from expressing my truth is the military, because
Oh, okay.
there
Got
is
you.
stuff like I'm officially still in there, so there's
Yeah,
stuff I can't really talk about.
got you. Got you. I
But
understand.
not because I don't want, like, man, this truth is gonna be expressed when
Yeah,
time comes.
we're gonna need that exclusive episode, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah. You will, man.
Nice.
Trust me. So yeah, right now I'm just waiting to get out to express that. But there are definitely other places where I'm expressing other types of truth.
Okay, okay.
But yeah, that was like one particular thing that I had in mind
Hmm.
about the military. But yeah, definitely be more of myself, be more genuine,
Yeah, I got you.
I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's tricky because sometimes when we're thinking about like, yeah, I have to like, what's my truth or what's my genuine thing, and then if you just like drop in and just go, let go, and you'll feel it. And I actually, staying in the center of the heart, I find is the best way. Just stay in
Yeah.
the center of your heart, and then that's it, man. Get comfy there.
Hmm.
Just arrive
But
there.
I feel like I compare this episode to my first podcast, and I was like, shit,
Yeah,
there's a difference, right? Like on
yeah,
that first episode, I was like, I don't know, trying to prove something, or would
yeah.
like try to be all perfect. And right
Oh,
now
yeah, yeah,
I'm not, like, fuck it. Moments of silence. Well, fuck, there are gonna be moments of silence. I'm cool with that, and
yeah.
it's like I'm getting more and more comfortable being in that state of flow.
I love
So
it, man. But this is great. I think we're going pretty well.
yeah, it's great practice. Great
Exactly.
live practice.
Yeah, exactly.
So tell me, man, what can we expect from you in the upcoming, I don't know,
A little while here.
weeks, yeah,
So something
months?
that
So
something that's been happening for me has been like I'm really getting my artist is coming back, like the artist,
nice.
and like the one who's got a little bit of like swagger, a little like hip hop gangster type of vibe.
Nice, man. I gotta share this with you. I also, like, I've been
Oh,
writing some songs that I want to
yeah.
record,
Ah, nice.
but like rap, like same, like rap.
Yeah. But it's a part of you. So
Yeah,
I was like, okay, I want to integrate that into this like high, like this consciousness thing
yeah,
too.
like conscious rap. Not the shit
Yeah,
lyrics that we hear like in the
exactly.
club or whatever, but bring some more conscious, like, cause that, man, and I think that was part of the shit going on with our generation, where like
Yeah.
we had a, I know I had a period in my, I'm not going to share this with you.
Mhm.
Oh, there you go. I'm being more, there you go. I'm sharing. I'm
There it is.
opening
It's
up.
in the heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a period of my life where I was hanging out with people that, like gangster, like there was a phase of my life where like I thought it was cool, and like in that gangster
Yeah.
vibe or whatever. Um, and I think the music really affected that part in our generation.
Oh man, like
And all the
crazy.
lyrics, we heard, like,
Yeah.
gunshot, club, all this stuff, like money,
Yeah.
holes, or whatever.
Yeah.
That goes into your subconscious mind, and
I know. I know.
fuck.
And like for me, I mean, like I was never really a rapper, but because I don't have a flow when it comes to rap. Yeah.
It's all
But
good, man. You
and
have a
for me,
low, you have a flow when it comes to life, so that's even better.
exactly, exactly.
There you go. If somebody tells you, "Hey, you
So
don't have a flow in rap," tell you,
yeah,
motherfucker, I got a flow in life.
for
What you know
life.
about that?
Exactly. Yeah, man. So I've just been making beats and putting things together, and I'm creating these kind of short films that
Yeah,
are
I've seen a
all going to
couple of
be
those. They're pretty
inspiration.
awesome, man. It's a
Yeah,
great
now
job,
I'm
man.
like I'm really gonna like go all in with it, you know.
Beautiful.
So that's what's coming up. Other than that, I have my one-to-ones, the mentorship stuff that I've been doing, and
Nice.
just developing some new programs and whatnot.
Yeah, you got a new program coming up. Is do
Well,
you mind
there,
sharing about that one? It's like a 5-stage thing.
yes. So this is what I do in the 3-month mentorship. Basically, it's about helping an individual or guiding an individual on discovering their own flow. So
Nice.
what that means is like we were just talking about how to surrender into the current and live life really in the flow, you know. But we do it in a way that takes you across this inner journey that helps you to the opening. And so this whole thing was inspired by Anubis, actually, the Egyptian god of the underworld. And
Mm.
so one time in a meditation, he appeared to me and he showed me this whole thing, you know, and then like I
What?
had to walk that path myself first. So I did that. And then through that, now I can kind of guide people through this journey through the underworld, basically.
My man, I didn't know that. That's pretty
Yeah,
fun.
I
That's
know. I know.
pretty
I
cool.
haven't shared that anywhere, you know, which I should probably share that.
Man, tell
Um,
me more about that. I was like, fuck, I'm
yeah.
excited to know about that. How did she appear? Or like,
I mean, Anubis just popped up. It was actually after um, an Aya ceremony that I had
nice.
done. Uh, and right after that journey, Anubis appeared. And then, like, I didn't really know anything about it. You know, I didn't really know who he was or what he represented or any of that.
And
And then
who
I
is he for
started
the audience? Who's
So Anubis is the Egyptian god of the dead, and he's the one
there you
who
go.
weighs the basically to see if you're worthy of going across to the other side. He weighs the weight of your heart against the weight of a feather. And the thing is
Oh,
if your heart is the purer the heart, the lighter it is, right?
what? I didn't know that.
So
I didn't know that story
yeah,
of it.
he's like the judge before he kind of like you go to the other side.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah, so discover your flow is really that process. And so stage one is like facing off with all of you, like seeing all your patterns, seeing everything that brought you to this moment, right? So just like, how did I even get here? You know, what was the flow back then, right?
Nice. Okay,
So
so
just
ask
look
yourself
at
the
it.
questions
Yeah,
what
what? You know, like
like
questioning things.
what am I doing
Yeah,
in this thing
exactly.
called life? Okay,
And
cool.
like,
Gotcha.
and through that, you really get a snapshot of where you're at. Then in stage two, basically, is about power, where we look at the people, situations, circumstances that you might still be holding on to. And then we take ownership of how we feel. We take ownership of our emotions. We
Nice.
take
Yeah, so
ownership.
when we talk about power here, we talk about self-empowerment, right?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Because people like confuse power with like self-empowerment. And
Yeah.
I make a distinction between those two because like
Got you. Yeah. Yeah. It's really self empowerment. So really starting to take ownership of you, you know? And then from there, once we've done those two stages, it's like you're ready. You've released and you've surrendered and you're open now. And so stage three is about listening to inspiration, getting inspired, letting yourself be pulled by that, being pulled by what feels good for your heart, feels good for your soul. And then you start following that current, which brings us to stage four, which is about thriving. And so once you're writing that, you're starting to do well financially. You're like bringing in situations and circumstances that really nourish you. Uh,
right.
and it's really because you're starting to magnetically pull newer things in because you've been cultivating your energy, basically. And then
Man,
at stage
that's
5,
so accurate.
I know, and at stage 5 is completion. Like you've arrived to the end of the old life, and you'll be faced with one last challenge, usually as you're about to cross over into full surrender and living from the flow. So that's it.
To the end, like I said, to the end of that stage, because there's not really an end, right? It's just a,
No,
just a
exactly.
cycle.
It's like,
So
then you're in trust, and then you're living, and you're building, you're creating, and you know how to see what's going on within you, you know?
right, kind of igniting that power of manifestation.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're very good at that. No,
Hey, thanks, man.
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
brother.
that's the 3-month program, basically.
It's pretty cool. So where can we find that program? How can people sign up for that?
So they can find it online. They could just go straight to my site, which is my name, sookdevbenning.com.
Perfect.
And there's a link there called mentorship.
I'll put the link in the description so people can go check it out. So
Thanks,
that, and man, coming to my last question for you, brother.
Yeah. Shoot.
What's your best tip to make this world a better place?
Yeah. Okay. So the best tip I could say is to focus less on everything out there and really just start listening to yourself. Start listening and feeling yourself and moving towards that. Because when one person starts doing it, then Joe or Bob outside, they meet you and you say one thing and something gets activated in them, and then they go spread it, you know? So this whole love movement, this whole unity movement is like, it's very contagious. And so we want to spread it. And the way you spread it is you got to give it to yourself.
Wow.
Right. So once you give it to yourself, that's how you're really starting to empower. You have to give yourself the gift. And the more you give yourself the gift, the more you start radiating out. And then that turns into a ripple effect. And also, I don't know if you ever heard of the 100th monkey effect.
The 100 monkey effect. No.
Okay. So the 100th monkey effect was that there was a group of Japanese scientists who brought 100 monkeys onto an island. And what they did was they threw potatoes into the sand. And so each monkey would go, they'd eat the potato. Until one monkey, she took the potato and she went into the water and she washed it. And then she ate it. And so eventually 1 or 2 more did it. And then, 5, 6, and then eventually the 100th monkey was doing it too. So they're all washing their potatoes and they're eating it.
No way.
Now these scientists, right, they went to another island, completely on a different country, and they brought in another set of 100 monkeys. So these monkeys had nothing to do with the other ones. They put the potatoes in the sand. First thing the monkey does is take the potato, washes it, and eats it. So It was like, and they're not related. But like what was crazy is that it shows you how this web of consciousness that we're all connected to, the more we just start radiating within ourselves, like you're making a difference.
Wow.
So that's why the game is really about, what is going to light me up? And sometimes like lighting you up is being of service to others, or lighting you up means not doing that, or maybe like whatever it is that lights you up, you just do that.
Exactly. Whatever lighting you up is for you.
Yes. Right. And like, I am you, you are me. We have the same connection.
Yeah. No, for sure. Wow, man. Those there you go. You guys had all that wisdom there. I hope you're all taking notes that right here at home. Just
Yeah.
That was powerful, man. That was powerful. It reminds me also of another experiment I've seen. That it was at a clinic,
Yeah.
some type of clinic, and there was an alarm that went on, and this lady, she was like an actress. She was like the only actress in there. There were the other people were like clients or
Yeah.
patients, whatever. And every time the alarm sounded, like she stood up and then went right back to sit down. And the alarm kept going on and she kept standing up. And then like another person just right next to her just looked at how she was standing up and decided to stand up as well. And then all the other people, last thing you know,
So,
like all the patients there were standing up every time the alarm beeped. And
wow.
yeah,
See, it's like we're all
and
connected like that, man. And that's where it's like, okay, there's something at play that is beyond us as well.
yeah, yeah. So it shows us like the same way that we can transmit all these toxic habits,
Yeah,
we can also transmit healing to future generations.
exactly. Exactly. And the more you can just be you.
Yeah.
Like authentic. I think, I believe that what's coming up, like back in the day, it was all about enlightenment, like being enlightened. Now I feel it's stepping into being authentic.
Yeah. No, for sure. And like what is being enlightened? Like I
Yeah.
have no clue what that is. I can relate more to being authentic or being like enjoy. Just
Yes.
being happy with, but like genuine. I mean like genuine happiness with what you
Yeah.
do or like with who you are. Do you feel good with who you are, with yourself?
Yeah.
And yeah, just that joy and authenticity, definitely. Because the more you are authentic, the more you like let go all of that baggage that's holding you back, right? Because you're
Exactly.
allowing yourself to just to grow from there, to
Yeah.
be whoever you want to be, not whoever society's been telling you to be. Or yeah, I agree, man,
Exactly.
100%,
Yeah.
brother.
Great.
On that note,
Yeah.
I want to say a big thank you for this big show of wisdom you brought to us.
Dude, thank you for
That was
having me, man.
powerful. That was really powerful. And man, I wish you all the best in your programs and future projects, whatever, but especially in your beingness.
Thanks, brother. Same to you, man. Thank you for having me and thank you for doing this.
And like I say, much love.
Much love, man.
Thank you so much for listening. And if you haven't done this yet, go get yourself a copy of my free ebook, The Thrive Method, a 6-step guide to naturally align yourself with your life mission, regain your power, and fully thrive, on my website, renzoruizhas.com. I'll put the link in the description below for you to check it out. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Spiritual Warrior TV, and to follow me on Facebook and Instagram as Renzo Ruiz Has. I want to express once again my biggest gratitude for your support, and see you on the next episode. Much love.